of everything. My heart is completely void of everything. That is how Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravshaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virehenam. The absence of Krishna is felt so much that for him everything is just zero. He feels that he has been defeated mm, by so many cowherd men. So the story is there that has been put. But the separation is felt too much. Tatvai dhanusta ishava sarato hayaste soham rathi nripatayo yata anavanti sarvakshanena tadabhuda sadishariktam भस्मन्भुतं कुहकरा Mashmuyam. So tat the same, why certainly, Dhanu the same bow, Ishavaha arrows, Saha the very name, the very same, Ratha chariot, Hayate the very same horses, Sah Aham I am the same Arjuna, Rathi the chariot fighter, Nrupatayaha all the kings, Yataha whom, Anamanti offer their respects, Sarvam all, Shamena, at a moment's notice, that all those Abhuta became Asat, useless, Isha, because of the Lord, Riktam, being void, Basman, ashes, Utam, offering butter, Uhakaradham, money created by magical feats, Eva, like that, Uptam, sown, Ushaya, barren land. So I have the same very Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses. I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offer the due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magical wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. So you put butter on the wood which is placed in the altar, fire altar. Now you put butter on the ashes, no use. You sow the seeds in the barren land, what is the use? Then you try to accumulate money with a magical wand. That's not going to give you that pleasure. The money accumulated by your hard work that gives pleasure. So I don't find any pleasure in sitting on the horse, on the chariot. I have the same Gandhi Babu, but I am not having any pleasure. I feel everything is null, dull, null, and void. The same verse. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrshaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virehenam. That is at the highest level of prema. The devotee experiences the virah of Krishna. Okay. Ashok Aneja Prabhu, will you read?
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। तई देव धनुस्त ईश्वास रथो हयास्ते सो अहम रथी नपतयो यत आनमन्ति सर्वं क्षक्षेण तद अभूत असित ईश्वरिकम् भस्मन् हुतं कुहक्राध्वम् इवो उक्तम् उष्याम। Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. I I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offer their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. Purport. As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by the borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are derived from the Supreme Source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and cease to function as soon as he withdraws. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. Material civilization without the blessing of the Lord is child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed with the supreme blessing of the Lord. And without this blessing, all advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on ashes, the accumulation of money by a magic wand, and the sowing of seeds in a barren land. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Next. राजं स्वयानुपृष्ठानां सुहृदाम्ना सृहत्पुरे विप्रशापविमूढानां निघ्नतां मुष्टिभिर्मितः वारुणीं मदिरां पीत्वा मदोन्मथितचेतसाम् अजानतामिवान्योन्यम् चतुपञ्चावशोषिताः. So Rajan, O king, Tvaya by you, Anuprishtana, as you inquired, Suhradam, our friends and relatives, Nah our Surhatpure, in the city of Dwarka, Vipra the Brahmanas, sharp by the curse of Vimudhanam, of the befooled, Nignatam, of the killed, Mushtibhi, with bunches of sticks, Mitha, among themselves, Varuni, fermented rice, Madiram, wine, Pitva, have drunk, Mada Unmatita, being intoxicated, Chetasam, of that mental situation, Ajanatam, of the unrecognized, Eva, like, Anyonyam, one another, Chatu, four, Pancha, five, Avesheshitashataha, Avasheshitaha, now remaining. O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, I'll inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas. And as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but four or five of them are dead and gone. So because they inquired about the relatives, all are gone except for four or five, they are alive. And this all happened because of the curse of Brahmanas. So somebody has to read the verse. Krishna Priya, read the verse. You can show
Hare
the
Krishna,
translation,
Dandavat
the
Pranam.
24. Yeah.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Rajamstvayanuprushtanam suhridam nah suhurpure viprasapavimudhanam nidgatham mushtibhirmithaha varunim madiram pitva madonmadhitachetasam अजानतामिवान्योऽयं चतुः पञ्चावशेषिताः. Translation. O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwaraka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all become intoxicated with wines made up of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all about four or five of them are dead and gone. Hare Krishna.
Except four or five, all are gone. let us see next verse. So it's a very hard thing to say, but whole relatives, everybody has gone. Praye, प्रायेणैतद् भगवत ईश्वरस्य विचेषितं मितो निघ्नन्ति भूतानि भावयन्ति च यन्मुतः. प्रायेण एतत्, it is almost by Bhagavatah, by the personality of Godhead, Ishwarasya, of the Lord, Vicheshtitam, by the will of Mitha, one another, Nignanti, do kill, Bhutani, the living entities, Bhavayanti, as also protect, Cha also, yet of whom, Mitha, one another. So actually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, the personality of God. Sometimes people kill one another, other times they protect one another. So whatever actions we are doing, it's actually because of the will of Krishna. Nobody can do any actions by their own endeavor. If Lord wants, then only a person can do that action. Sometimes there is protection, sometimes people fight with each other. So we have seen in the Bangladesh, so much of fight is happening. When Kali has to come, it's again will of Lord. So there are people who are like venom, their power raises. At times the devotees' power seems to be low. But anyhow, Dharma always wins. Dharma always wins. So here it seems that because of Krishna's will, the family members themselves fought and they killed each other. First, Krishna wanted all of them to come back. Okay, Vimla, you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Dayane tad bhagvat Vishwarasya vicheshtitam mito nignanti bhutani bhadayanti cha yanmika. Translation. Actually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and at the other times they protect one another. But according to the anthropologist, there is nature's law of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. But they do not know that behind the law of nature is the supreme direction of the supreme personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the law of nature is executed under the direction of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is peace in the world, it must be known that it is due to the goodwill of the Lord. And whenever there is upheaval in the world, it is also due to the supreme will of the Lord. Not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is disobedience of the established rules enacted by the Lord, there is war between man and nations. The surest way to the path of peace, therefore, is dovetailing everything to the established rule of the Lord. The established rule is whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we sacrifice, or whatever we give in charity must be done to the full satisfaction of the Lord. No one should do anything, eat anything, sacrifice anything, or give anything in charity against the will of the Lord. Discretion is the better part of the valor, and one must learn how to discriminate between actions which may be pleasing to the Lord and those which may not be pleasing to the Lord. An action is thus judged by the Lord's pleasure or displeasure. There is no room for personal whims. We must always be guided by the pleasure of the Lord. Such action is called Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, or actions performed which are linked with the Supreme Lord. That is the art of doing a thing perfectly. Hare Krishna.
Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Yoga means your every action should be connected to Lord. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. And that Kushalata or the expertise is given by the spiritual master. That is why one has to first consult, take guidance, and then perform action. There are certain things, okay, which we can do on our own, but there are certain important things we should always consult our authorities. Where major decisions are there, it's better to consult, isn't it? Then, according to their guidance, we should perform the activity. Next, जलौकसां जले यद्वन् महान्तो दन्त्यनीयशः दुर्बलां बलिनो राजन् महान्तो बलिनो मितः एवं बलिष्ठैरदुभिः महद्भिरितरान् विभुः यदा यदुभिरन्योन्यं भूभारान् भूभारान् संजहारः Jalokasam of the aquatics, Jale in the water, Yadvat as it is, Mahantah the large one, Adanti swallows, Aniyashaha smaller ones, Durlabhan, Durbalan. If you say Durlabha, it becomes the rarest, isn't it? This is Durbalan, the weak, Balina, the stronger, Rajan, the king, Mahantah, the strongest, Balina, less strong, Mitaha, in a duel, Evam, thus, Balishtaha, by the strongest, Yadubhi, by the descendants of Yadu, Mahadbhi, one who has greater strength, Itaran, the common ones, Vibhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yadun, all the Yadus, Yadubhi, by the Yadus, Anyonyam, among one another, Bhubharan, the burden of the world, Sanjahara, has unloaded her in the past. So, O king, as in the ocean, the bigger and the stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and the weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadus to kill the weaker, and the bigger Yadus to kill the smaller. So, who will kill whom? Only the stronger will kill the weaker. So, Lord arranged in his own family. The stronger Yadu will kill the weaker Yadu. The comparison is given like how the aquatic, big sharks, they can swallow the small fishes. So Krishna's will that all the Yadus has to disappear, then Krishna arranged in this way. When Krishna comes at the time also, Krishna has arrangement of sending the demigods in the family of Yadus. Krishna tells when especially Brahmaji goes with Mother Earth at that time, chants the Purush Sukta. Then Lord says, I will appear in the family of Yadus. And for that, instruct all the demigods to take birth in the family of Yadu. So Yadu is the king, and in that family, many demigods appear. So Yadu dynasty. And in this way, when Krishna wants that all should now go back to their positions, now his pastime is going to end. So first Lord, what he did was, he sent the Yadus first, and then unmanifested himself. Okay? Dayasagar Prabhu, please read. Dayasagar Prabhu, will you read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yalokasam Jale Yadvan Mahanto Dantyanyam Saha Durbalam Balino Rajan Mahanto Balino Mithaha Evam Balishthayr Yadubir Mahadbir Itaran Vibhuhu Yadun Yadubir Anyanyang Ubharan Sanjaharaha. A translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O king, as in the ocean the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker one, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker, and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. Purport. In the material world, the struggle for existence and survival of the fittest and laws because in the material world there is disparity between conditioned soul due to everyone's desire to lord it over the material resources. This very mentality of lording it over the material nature is the root cause of conditioned life, and to give facility to such imitation lords, the illusory energy of the Lord has created a disparity between conditioned living beings by creating the stronger and weaker in every species of life. The mentality of lording it over the material nature and the creation has naturally created a disparity and therefore the law of struggle for existence. In the spiritual world, there is no such disparity, nor is there such a struggle for existence. In the spiritual world, there is no struggle for existence because everyone there exists eternally. There is no disparity because everyone wants to render service to the Supreme Lord, and no one wants to imitate the Lord in becoming the beneficiary. The Lord, being creator of everything, including the living beings, factually is the proprietor and enjoyer of everything that be, but in the material world, by the spell of Maya or illusion, this eternal relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is forgotten, and so the living being is conditioned under the law of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. Hare Krishna.
Ishavasi, Idam Sarvam, everything belongs to Lord. When he wants to give the share, he will give the share. When he wants to withdraw, he will withdraw the facilities. Simple. That is how one should be surrendered to Lord. We can attempt to get, but whatever is written for in our bhagya, Krishna has allotted the share for everyone. That's what Ishopanishad first verse speaks about it. Ishavasyanidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam tena tyaktena bhujita maageva tasya siddhaya. So we can attempt, because without attempting we'll not get our share. So whatever share has been given, allotted, that only we get. But then when Krishna wants to withdraw the facilities, isn't this? So the body is also given by Krishna only. And at the same time, anyhow, the karmas play the role. But the facility has been given by Lord. And when Lord wants to withdraw this facility, Lord will take away. So in this way, one has to be completely dependent on the mercy of Lord. A nice line has been given. And to give facility to such imitation lords, illusory energy of the Lord has created disparity between conditioned living beings by creating the stronger and the weaker in every sphere of life. The imitation lords, that means one who has the mentality of lording it over the material nature. They think, oh, I'm the stronger person, I can subdue the weaker. Individually our energy works. Okay, be in this illusion. Again, the strength, everything is given by Krishna. And if Krishna wants to withdraw that strength also, Krishna can do it. Yadyad vibhuti vatsatvam shrimad urdhitameva tattadeva avagachatvam mama tejotsabhavam. Krishna gives the teja. Whatever vibhuti a person has, vibhuti means some extraordinary qualities. Somebody is very beautiful, somebody is very knowledgeable, somebody is very smart. All these vibhutis, somebody is very jnani, somebody is very rich. Whatever vibhuti means something special. That special thing is also given by Krishna. Mama tejonsa sambhava. It is his desire, and your karmas also play the role, but Krishna takes into consideration. If Krishna doesn't want to take into consideration, Krishna can swipe off all our karmas. If we have a tinge of pride, oh, it is my karma, because of that I have. Then you have a swipe machine, Krishna can easily swipe it off. Get lost with your karmas. If you have the pride of thinking that your karmas are so wonderful, that I can get all the facilities, for some moment Krishna can tolerate. But the same pride, Krishna takes it to a higher extent and then drops it. Like Prunavata. He had so much of pride. Went up, even took Krishna also. Krishna smashed his head. So, the person has the pride, Krishna can immediately withdraw. Withdraw all his power. Desha-kalartha-yuktani hritta-popashamani cha haranti smaratasthittam govindabhihitani me. Desha-kalartha Yuktani, Desha, space, Kala, time, Artha, importance. Yuktani, impregnated. Rit, the heart. Tap, the burning. Tap, Upa, so O has been Pa and O. Upa, Upashamani cha, Upashamani, extinguishing cha and Haranti are attracting. Smarata, by remembering. Chitta, mind. Govinda, the personality of, supreme personality of pleasure. Abhitani, narrated by me unto me. Now I'm attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda because they are impregnated with instructions for leaving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Now Arjuna is remembering the instructions and he says they're impregnated with instructions. Remembering the instructions which is impregnated with instructions for removing the burning heart, for relieving the burning heart. So now Arjuna is remembering the instructions which Krishna has given. In Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna gave? The instruction. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given instructions. And now Arjuna is remembering these instructions because he is burning in the fire of separation. That is why he says, now I'm remembering those instructions. And these instructions are going to relieve the misery. So that is true. Only the instructions of Krishna, when we follow very nicely, we can also experience Krishna at every step. Instructions are not different from Lord. Why? It is relieving the miseries of separation. Because when you follow instructions, naturally, you are with that person. Like today, I read one of the nice message of Guru Maharaj. If I leave the body, connect yourself with some senior devotee of mine, and in this way, you will always be with me. That means his instructions will be passed by his senior disciples. So these are the instructions which every acharya gives for the disciple. And when we follow their mission, their goal, their intention, then they are not lost even for a fraction of a second. Like there is a nice Swami whose name is his name is Mahadviti Swami. His only aim is he goes to every temple. He goes and he distributes the books of that particular temple. Doesn't touch the money, gives the money to the temple itself. But he takes the score. And just see, he is disciple of Srila Prabhupada. After even Prabhupada has said, this person is just, he must be 75, 80 years. And what the intention? The intention is I should serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. This is what we learn from our. I was talking to he has a little hard words, like very strict. But I was feeling like I was really liking. See, even now, maybe 75, 80 years, even now, who is actually, why he should do all these things? Yes, but because they love Prabhupada, they love their Acharya. What they are going to get, you tell me? Even if they are getting score, are they going to get any medal? Who is going to give them the medal? But yes, to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, they always do what they have committed to Srila Prabhupada. That is how we should also learn. Whatever we have committed to our authorities, our Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, we should do that. And by doing that, our Diksha Guru is not lost even for a fraction of a second. And this will always keep that person close to that authority. And that is how he says that by following the instructions of Krishna, my miseries will be lost. Because when you follow instructions, naturally you are with that person. You remember the instructions. Then this is Viplamba Bhava Seva. In separation, crying also, at the same time performing the service also. Kusum read the big purpose. So Kusum will share with Krishna Priya Mataji. Narayana cannot read. So Kusum and Krishna Priya Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Mataji, I can read one paragraph.
Okay, okay.
Should I read the first one? Kusum Mataji, if you allow.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, please.
You read the words?
Mataji, I apologize because I came very late from the office. I told Amma that I won't be reading, but I'll read one paragraph. Herein, Arjuna, translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Desha kalartha yuktani rittapopasamani cha haranti smarataschitam govinda vihitani me. Translation. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Purport. Herein, Arjuna refers to the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord Himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic scriptures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and higher sections of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of Lord from the vision of the earthly people, when Arjuna was face to face with being vanquished in his acquired power and prominence, he wanted again to remember the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of mental agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglements which may embarrass one in some critical hour. Kusum Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Kusum.
Thank you. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord
But by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord. Should I continue, Mataji? Should I continue, Mataji?
Yes, yes, continue.
The faithful human being who is desirous of being liberated from the clutches of material existence can very easily take advantage of the Bhagavad Gita, and with this in view, the Lord instructed Arjuna as if Arjuna were in need of it. In the Bhagavad Gita, five important factors of knowledge have been delineated pertaining to the Supreme Lord, the living being, nature, time and space, the process of activity. Out of these, the Supreme Lord and the living being are qualitatively one. The difference between the two has been analyzed as the difference between the whole and the part and parcel. Nature is inert matter displaying the interaction of three different modes, and eternal time and unlimited space are considered to be beyond the existence of the material nature. Activities of the living being are different varieties of aptitudes which can entrap or liberate the living being within and without material nature. All these subject matters are concisely discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, and later the subject matters are elaborated in the Srimad Bhagavatam for further enlightenment. Out of the five subjects, the Supreme Lord, the living entity, nature, and time and space are eternal. But the living entity, nature, and time are under the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is absolute and completely independent of any other control. The Supreme Lord is the supreme controller. The material activity of the living being is beginningless, but it can be rectified by the transference into the spiritual quality. Thus, it can see its material qualitative reactions. Both the Lord and the living entity are cognizant, and both have the sense of identification of being conscious as a living force. But the living being, under the condition of material nature called Mahatattva, misidentifies himself as being different from the Lord. The whole scheme of Vedic wisdom is targeted to the aim of eradicating such a misconception and thus liberating the living being from the illusion of material identification. When such an illusion is eradicated by knowledge and renunciation, the living beings are responsible actors and enjoyers also. The sense of enjoyment in the Lord is real, but such a sense in the living being is a sort of wishful desire only. This difference is consciousness, is the distinction of the two identities, namely the Lord and the living being. Otherwise, there is no difference between the Lord and the living being. The living being is therefore eternally one and different simultaneously. The whole instruction of the Bhagavad Gita stands on this principle. Should I
Hare
continue,
Krishna
Mataji?
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
A very clear instruction has been given that five subject matters are there: God, soul, Kala Karma, and the matter. As much as Lord is eternal, matter is also eternal, soul is eternal, time is eternal, everything is controlled by Krishna. Only karma is changeable. Yeah, Krishna Priya, you had some doubt?
No. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yeah, you can continue, but something.
Okay.
So in this way, you have these five subject matters which has been given. So what is the illusion? What is the illusion? Thinking that Lord and the living entity is one. We cannot be one. So whole scheme of Vedic wisdom is targeted to aim of eradicating such a misconception that one can become one with God or something like a living entity under the condition of material nature called Mahatattva misidentifies himself as being different from Lord. Again, neither he is different from Lord, nor he is same with Lord. He belongs to Lord. Okay, now continue. In the
In the
Bhagavad
Bhagavad Gita, the Lord and the living beings are both described as Sanatana or eternal, and the Lord's abode for far beyond the material sky is also described as Sanatana. The living being is invited to life in the Sanatana existence of the Lord, and the process which can help a living being to approach the Lord's abode, where the liberated activity of the soul is exhibited, as called Sanatana Dharma. One cannot, however, reach the eternal abode of the Lord without being free from the misconception of material identification. And the Bhagavad Gita gives us the clue how to achieve this stage of perfection. The process of being liberated from the misconception of material identification is called in different stages: fruitive activity, empiric philosophy, and devotional service, up to transcendental realization. Such transcendental realization is made possible by dovetailing all the above items in relation with the Lord. Prescribed duties of the human being, as directed in the Vedas, can gradually purify the sinful mind of the conditioned soul and raise him to the stage of knowledge. The purified stage of acquiring knowledge becomes the basis of devotional service to the Lord. As long as one is engaged in researching the solution of the problems of life, his knowledge is called jnana or purified knowledge. But on realization the actual solution of life, one becomes situated in the devotional service of the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita begins with the problem of life by discriminating the soul from the elements of matter and proves by all reasons and arguments that the soul is indestructible in all circumstances and that the outer covering of matter, the body and the mind, changes another terms of material existence, which is full of miseries. The Bhagavad Gita is therefore meant for terminating all different types of miseries. And Arjuna took shelter of this great knowledge, which had been imparted to him during the Kurukshetra battle. Hare Krishna.
Avinashi to tadviddhi yena sarvam idam tatam. So what is pervading all over the body is the consciousness of the soul, which is Avinashi. So in different plane, especially 11th verse Bhagavad Gita to 30th verse second chapter, Krishna speaks on the eternity of the soul. Like Dehinasme Natha Dehe, Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara Jatasya, Dhruvam, Mrityu, Dhruvam, Janma, so many verses. Vasam, Pidila, Yato, Vinaya. So many verses Krishna speaks on the eternity of the soul. So that is what is spoken here. So, when this is coming down, yeah. So, because of the instructions which has been given by Krishna, Arjuna says, I can now remember these instructions and relieve my misery. Because Lord and his instructions are not different. Okay? So, we'll stop here. Any questions you can ask? It was Sutuvarchana.
Mataji, why all relatives and friends were cursed by Brahmanas?
There's a story, na? Narayana will tell that story. Mushala tried that stomach, they wanted to test the Brahmana.
Yes, Mataji, I'll tell the story.
Yeah, tell.
He is very nice.
So one of the descendants of the Lord, I'm forgetting the name. Uh, he had a ball of iron, and he dressed like my God. He dressed like a woman, and then he had a ball of iron, and he had hidden that ball of iron under his dress to basically to show that he is pregnant. So they wanted to test the brahmanas. So all the brothers and that person, they went in the assembly of the brahmanas, and they started quizzing the brahmanas in a very derogatory sense that kindly tell us, what is this? Is it a boy or is it a girl? So the brahmanas knew that they are being tested, not in the proper way. So they cursed that whatever is going to be born from that is going to be the reason for the end of the dynasty. So that ultimately resulted in a mace, a gada, and that started the destruction of the entire Yadu dynasty.
That is
Okay.
Mushala, the same Mushala. Like a piece of iron that becomes the cause of their fight. Okay.
Okay.
Anyhow, it is going to come because till now it has not come. The whole thing is going to come. You can even see the whole thing story and put it also, Narayana. Put the story in the group. So exact name, everything. It is going to come. As Srila Prabhupada does not
Mataji, I have a doubt.
elaborate. What?
Now, why did Vyasadeva put this chapter in Bhagavatam? Like, why is it necessary to study the disappearance of Lord? Is
so
it
that
like
one
very
can,
heart wrenching?
yes, so that one should understand, even if Lord has disappeared, Pandavas, they are giving instructions to us, or Lord is giving instructions through Pandavas to us. That even if I have disappeared, Arjuna is remembering me through his instructions. That is why Bhagavad Gita study is very important. That is why this chapter is put.
No, Mataji, I am
Indirectly, what
asking
is
about.
mentioned? I
No,
understood.
Mataji,
You're
I understand.
asking
I understand the
why Lord has put about disappearance. Why this chapter has been put?
no. Why in the first canto itself? Like, why here? Why not in the 10th, 11th, or 12th canto?
That is how now the whole thing is going to come. How Srimad Bhagavatam, the subject matters about Lord. This is Purva Kriya. Purva Kriya means the setting of the scene is happening. Parishad Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami Sambad, Sutta Goswami, Naimisharanya Sambad, Maitri Vidura Sambad, all these things will start. Now the appearance of Bhagavatam that has come, appearance of Bhagavatam, Parishad Maharaj's birth has come. So like this, slowly, step by step. Now what will be the next chapter? Just see. Because the second chapter will speak about slowly it will come. What are the subject matters in Srimad Bhagavatam? Now what all is what is all left? Yeah. So Pandavas retiring, then Parikshit receiving the age of Kali, how the punishment and reward of Kali happen. Because who is Parikshit then? How Viraha is the Pandavas, then they go, they retire. Then Parikshit, he is the descendant of Pandavas. Then how the punishment is given, how Parikshit is cursed by a Brahmana boy, appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. So like this, appearance of Bhagavatam, slowly comes. In the appearance of Bhagavatam, 4th chapter itself, Narada has indicated that write such a book which is going to bring revelation. But the Purva Kriya about the whole, because there is a question asked. Again in ninth canto, you will find the same. Because Parishit Maharaj will ask again, let me know more about the family. Sorry, Sukadeva Goswami will ask. Parishit will ask to Sukadeva Goswami. That I want to know more about the whole family. Then again you will find. There will be repetition. Again, there will be repetition. That is why this incident of the Yadus fighting with each other, anyhow it is going to come. That is why here in purport, Prabhupada has not elaborately spoken. All these going is this
topic is going to appear. But here Pandavas are retiring, then only the kingdom will be given to Parikshit. How the whole will be given to Parikshit? The whole thing started with what? Parikshit giving curse to Kali. And then it was Kali's plan to get Parikshit cursed. And that is how the Bhagavatam evolved. Parikshit was cursed. Parikshit sat on the banks of Ganga. Sukadeva Goswami comes. So whole scenario is given now. What all happened? And now because Parikshit came on the banks of Ganga, Bhagavatam started. What is there in Bhagavatam? That is all there in 10 subject matters. Like 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita, then 10 subject matters are there in Bhagavatam. The scene is all the creating of the scene. Gadam karke how Bhagavatam will start. Bhagavatam is nothing but conversation. The first conversation happened from between whom to whom? It actually happened with Vyasa to Sukadeva Goswami. Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam. Same Bhagavatam expands to Parikshit. Again, the same Bhagavatam is realized by Suta Goswami and giving the realization to the Shaunakadi Rishi. Now, expansion is not there, realization. You will speak only when you realize the subject matter. That is why, if you see in the second chapter, Yathaditam, I will only give those things which I have digested. Like I hold hand under the fountain, under the waterfall. I will only collect that much which my hand can take it. So in this way, if you see all the chapters, it's just step by step. How he leaves for Dwarka, how Kunti Maharani prays and coming to Dwarka, like that. Then Arjuna going, seeing all the conditions, then Arjuna cries, then all will retire, all will go now. Then Parishad gets the kingdom. It's a scene actually, step by step. Yes, Daya Sagar Prabhu, you have doubt?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a question regarding the verse 24, which is very nice, but in some cases it's very difficult to understand. It says, actually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another. I have one example of this, what is happening now in Bangladesh, where, for example, when the temples are destroyed and priests killed, and so how we can understand that it is also the will of the Supreme Lord.
The will of the Supreme Lord is to show that in all the circumstances, I cannot be destroyed. You see, the Vigraha of Lord is not destroyed. Temples may be destroyed, but the Vigraha could not be destroyed. That's one thing. The devotees can understand that. You see, the Vigrahas are intact, though there is so much of destruction everywhere. But yes, again, to show to everyone that devotees can stand in all the circumstances. And they have the height of tolerance. I was just hearing to the conversation which the reporter was taking to the temple president. How calm and how smooth he was, even in this circumstances. Devotees can stand in all the circumstances. Now, when we are talking about here, the people are into killing, all these things. Yes, it happens. Sometimes demonic powers are more. Sometimes divine powers are more. Like there is always a fight between Devatas and Asuras. Even when you go to the chapter of Bali Maharaj, there also this line is indicated. Sometimes demons have more power. That is nothing but to increase their pride. But in all the circumstances, dharma is going to be, dharma is going to win. It will always have a victory. Even though for some time you feel, okay, this is adharma is prevailing. But wherever adharma prevails, Lord appears in different ways, either as representative. Now we can now see, I'll put an article in Tuesday Narayani group, where Prabhupada has done so much for Bangladesh. Maybe to reveal all these things, because we as a member of ISKCON also, we don't know what our ISKCON has done, what our Prabhupada has done for the benefit of the whole world. We take it very lightly, oh, ISKCON, yeah. But our ISKCON has stood in all circumstances. Sometimes people say, oh, you feed only those people who are already fed. No, we feed even those who are not fed. When Bangladesh was separated and Bangladesh was practically, it was forming with no money, all hungry people. Everywhere there was only hunger. It is ISKCON who stood. That is what they have written. How faithless you are. You have forgotten that we fed you. Didn't we said, after feeding we should not tell. But then you have to remind, na? We have to remind such people. So it's nice. It will keep devotees more closer. When there is such type of mishap which happens, devotees come more closer. Instead of fighting with each other, they will know that they should fight with atheistic people. Generally, devotees like to fight with each other, forgetting that there are certain people with whom they should fight. Not that they should fight with each other. They should compete with each other. They should blame each other. I heard Bhakti Vikas Maharaj lecture, very, very nice lecture. He came to Mira Road. He told, we find faults in other sampradayas. Why we find faults in other sampradayas? At least they are telling Narayana's name. Oh, we say Krishna. Krishna is the topmost. Goloka is the topmost. You are worshipping Narayana. Narayana is in the Vaikuntha planet. And why you are fighting with each other? They are atheists. Go and fight with them. Somebody wants to go to Vaikuntha. Let them go. Now, what is the problem? And they are going to Narayana only. Na? Oh, Narayana is Chaturbhuja. Our Krishna is the. Okay, let it be. Na? What is your problem? Here, Prabhupada has told Krishna, Vasudeva, Narayana. In one of the purport, Prabhupada writes, don't find difference. And we fight among ourselves. Why about among the sampradayas? We find there is a fight between the counselors only in the temple. Now, you should not go there, you should not go here, you should not go to that temple, you should not go to this temple. So you just see, we fight among ourselves, isn't it? That is why sometimes Krishna has to show that fight with the atheistic people. All devotees come together. Don't compete with each other. There is a practical competition which is happening among the devotees. Khichatani, we say. So, iska pav khichu, uska pav khichu. Their devotees are dying. We can come together and help them. Isn't it? So sometimes when Krishna sees all these things are happening, when he is also frustrated, isn't it? The purpose of coming to the temple is to grow in devotion service. So leaving aside all these things, we bring the same competitive nature within the temple, same materialistic tendencies within the temple. And we say things are happening outside, things are happening inside also, with the fire which is there inside also, which has to be removed. There should be love which should prevail in our community. Now, this is the truth, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, I've got a question. When we receive the blessings from Krishna, and then it is been withdrawn by Krishna also, as it is mentioned in the shloka. Now, how to deal with it? I mean, what is your recommendation? I mean, how?
He has not told, I'll remove the blessings, facilities.
Facility.
It is not blessings are removed. Even when Krishna withdraws the facility, that is also blessing. Yasyaham anugrahami harishe taddanam shanai. Tadovadanam tejanti yasya sajanam dukkha dukkhitam. To whoever Krishna has favored a lot, Krishna removes all the facility. So that facility which is coming in between the devotional service, that is removed, and that person can grow more. Prabhupada used to always chant this shloka is very practical.
Mhm.
And when Krishna provides the facility, understand that facility is to again grow in devotional service. When facilities are given, that is for him. Facilities are withdrawn, that is also for him.
So both are good.
Both are good for a devotee.
Both are good for devotees to grow.
Yeah.
To grow.
When pride enters, there is nobody like me. I am the one who is running the temple. I am the one who brings everything. Krishna says, okay, I'll remove your facilities.
Right. Yeah.
What happened? Nainu is talking. Nainu wants to tell some shlokas. Okay.
Mataji, one more. Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji,
Okay.
is it possible to get the 10 aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam?
In your 10 subject matter, second canto, you're going to enter now. It's the last chapter.
Okay, we'll wait. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
I can tell the shloka now. Atra sarga visargasya sthanam posham upaya manvantara ishanagata nirodha mukti ashraya. These are the
Mataji, a small story about this. In Prabhupada Leela, there is a mention that there was a small fight between two brahmacharis in one of the temples in America. So Prabhupada was there physically, and they had to resolve it. So Prabhupada used to say only one single thing. He used to compare the amounts of facilities that they have with those temples which don't have those facilities, especially the Gaudiya Math temples. So Prabhupada used to always tell that a lot is expected from them to whom a lot has been given. So if you have been given some facilities, you are expected to do much more than those to whom those facilities are not been given. So the same quotation you find it even in Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Manjakalpitruvyasya Vipasindhuvyasya Patitanam Pavanidhu Vishnu Vyoramanma Vaishnavindraki Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll have class now next Tuesday. After that, chutti up to 27th. No class because I'm traveling. For Thursday itself, Thursday I think it's 15th August. So we are going for Yatra and all. So directly the class will be on 29th. I think it is Thursday. So somebody can write in the group. 29th is Thursday. 25, 26, 27. 29. So 29 will be the class. So write in the group. 29th is the class. We'll try to complete this chapter in 2 classes, 2 to 3 classes. And then we'll have examination for 13th, 14th, 15th. But again, gap will be given. So you study in this holidays, you can study till what we have done. So that just a week time is enough for you to prepare for the examination. Just another 20 verses are there. You can even study further and keep, so that it will be a revision. So prepare for your examination also. Just in 1 week, I'll keep exam, not a big gap again. Okay. Because we have to do now 16, 17, 18, 19, 4 chapters. And somehow I have to complete it by December. So that your second canto will start maybe in January or February. Okay. Hare Krishna. So in the meeting, Gautam,